Let us suppose you are working as an accountant in a company whose financial year ends in March. Do you think the financial statements will be prepared on the same year-end date? Or do you think nothing will happen post the year-end? Obviously no. Let me give you some real examples to prove that events can happen post the year-end and that will have a significant impact on the financial statements. Take the case of Jio. It has raised around rupees 67,194.75 crores from the leading investors Facebook, Silver Lake Partners, Vista Equity and General Atlantic in less than a month post March 2020. Another case, we have witnessed recently a broiler explosion in Neyveli power plant, and this has led to the losses of human lives and also impacted the business. 2 generating units have been shut down and will restore only after the safety aspects have been taken care. Or Uber, whose name we have forgotten over months now. It has cut around 3,700 jobs this month. Assume if all these events have happened post the year end of their respective companies, what will happen to the financial statements? Will it be affected by these events? Or how should these events be reflected in the financial statements? To know more about this, check out this video fully. Hello friends, you're watching Break Time session with Sri Radha. This session is on Ind AS 10, which deals with events after the reporting period. First of all, let us understand the objectives of this Ind AS. It has 3 important objectives. This standard Ind AS gives guidelines for taking a decision, for disclosure and guidelines when going concern is no longer appropriate. What kind of decisions? To adjust or not adjust the amounts in the financial statements for the above discussed events after the reporting period. Guidelines for disclosures. Disclosure on the date when the financial statements are approved for issue and disclosure about events after the reporting period. The third important aspect is that it also gives us guidelines when going concern is no longer appropriate. Let us move to the very important definition of the events after the reporting date. These are any events. It can be favorable like the Jio Facebook deal we have discussed or unfavorable like the NLC accident. But the rule is that these events should occur between the financial year end date and the financial statements approval date. So I once again repeat, events after the reporting date are those events, favorable or unfavorable, that occur between the end of the reporting period and the date when the financial statements are approved. Let us say suppose a company has a year end in December, on December 31. The financial statements are prepared by the accountants on Feb 28 and is reviewed and authorized by the Board of Directors on March 18. So the period between December 31 and March 18 is considered under this Ind AS 10, and all the events happening between this period is referred to as the events after the reporting period. The next question is, what is the date of approval of the financial statements? This has to be seen from the viewpoint of a company and a non-company. In case of a company, the date on which the financial statements are approved by the Board of Directors is referred to as the date of approval of the financial statements. But for a non-company, there are no directors. So, it is the corresponding approving authority who approves the financial statements. Let us understand through an example. In case of a partnership firm, there are no directors. It is only the partners who approve the financial statements, and they are referred to as the corresponding approving authority, and the date on which they approve the financial statements is referred to as the date of approval of the financial statements in case of a partnership firm. We'll move forward. Events after the reporting date can be classified into 2. Adjusting events and non-adjusting events. Adjusting events are those that provide evidence of conditions that existed at the end of the reporting period. On the other hand, non-adjusting events are those that are indicative of conditions that arose after the reporting period. So both these events happen after the reporting period, but the only difference between them is that the evidence of condition, when that arises, if it arises or if it is prevailing before or on the reporting end date, then it is referred to as the adjusting events. If not, then it is known as the non-adjusting events. Let us see the accounting treatment of these events. For adjusting events, the amounts should be adjusted in the financial statements to reflect the events. In case of a non-adjusting event, no adjustment will be made in the financial statement, only a disclosure should be made regarding this event. Let us understand the adjusting and non-adjusting events with the help of some examples. The first example is pertaining to entity A Limited, whose financial year end is March 31, 2018, and this company has a pending court case as at that date. The financial statements were approved by the Board of Directors on May 15. In between this period of March 31 and May 15, an important event has happened, which is nothing but the judgment of the court has been received on April 15, 2018. So, here this court case judgment is an adjusting event because this provides evidence of conditions as at the reporting date. The case can be both favorable and unfavorable. Nevertheless, the same needs to be adjusted in the financial statements to reflect the events. Suppose, let's say, the case turns out to result in a settlement. Then the company should adjust the provision which is already created in the books or should create a new provision as at March 31, 2018. Let us move to the second example. This is pertaining to impairment of the asset post the reporting period. So if you receive any information regarding the impairment of the asset after the reporting period, then it will be considered as an adjusting event and the impairment amount needs to be adjusted in the financial statements for the year end. The third example is on inventories. Ind AS 2 prescribes that inventories are to be valued at cost or NRV, net realizable value, whichever is lower. In such a case, net realizable value is based on the sales after the reporting period. However, that would be the most realistic value to be applied to the closing inventories if it is less than cost. Therefore, sale of inventories post the reporting period may give evidence about their NRV at the end of the reporting period. Let us take another example. The sale of an asset took place in March 2019. However, the actual consideration was determined and collected only in May 2019 after the reporting period, and the financial statements are approved on May 15, 2019. In such a case, the sale value recognized in the books should be adjusted to the actual amount. Also, Ind AS 10 focuses on frauds and errors which are revealed after the reporting period. They are considered as adjusting events and the entity should adjust the financial statements appropriately by rectifying the same so that the entity does not present any misstatement to the stakeholders. Let us move to some examples on non-adjusting events. In the plant of ABC Limited, a fire has happened on April 20th, 2019, leading to a loss of Rs 40 lakhs. The claim was filed with the insurance company and the recovery amount was estimated to be 27 lakhs. The financial statements for the year ended March 31, 2019 was approved by the Board of Directors on May 7, 2019. So in this case, it is a non-adjusting event since the conditions indicating the loss arose after the reporting period, which is March 31, 2019. So only a disclosure has to be made in the financial statements of the company. Let us take another example in case of an investment. When there is a decline in the fair value of the investments between the end of the reporting period and the date when the financial statements are approved for issue, this decline in fair value is not relating to the condition of the investments as at the end of the reporting period. So, this should not be considered as an adjusting event. This reflects only the circumstances that have arisen subsequently. That is why this event will be referred to as the non-adjusting event. Some other major examples of non-adjusting events would include a major business combination after the reporting period, disposing of a major subsidiary post their year-end date, announcing a plan to discontinue an operation, or some major share transactions, etc. after the reporting period. These are other examples of the non-adjusting events. There is another important non-adjusting event as per Ind AS 10, which is different from our erstwhile accounting standard. This is on dividend. If the dividends are declared after the reporting period but before the financial statements are approved for issue, that is the in-between period covered in Ind AS 10, then the dividends are not recognized as a liability at the end of the reporting period because no obligation is existing at the time of the financial statement. Such dividends are disclosed only in the notes in accordance with Ind AS 1. So, I hope everyone has understood the difference between the adjusting and non-adjusting events through these examples. So, I repeat once again, the crux of difference between the adjusting and non-adjusting events depends on the fact whether the event provides evidence for condition, evidence for existence of a condition at the end of the reporting period or not. We have come to the last aspect of today's discussion. There are some special cases which require special treatment in Ind AS 10. The first is on the carve out. We have seen a carve out on the breach of covenants on the long-term loans. When there is a waiver of the breach by the lender before the approval of the financial statements, then this should be considered as an adjusting event. Second is the most important one, the going concern assumption. So all of us will know that the financial statements are prepared on the basis of the going concern assumption. If, suppose, after the reporting period and before the approval of the financial statements, there are any signs, there are any indicators of not continuing the operations because of any reason, it can be COVID also. In spite of the fact the decision was taken after the reporting period, still the entity has to prepare the financial statements with a different approach, not with the going concern assumption approach, but it is to be prepared with a different approach and accordingly inform the stakeholders clearly that it is planning to cease the operations. So, I am sure everyone is clear on this aspect. In case if the going concern cannot be established by an entity, then the financial statements should not be prepared on a going concern assumption basis. It should be on a different approach and the stakeholders should be appropriately informed in this regard. Hope all of you would have enjoyed our Ind AS 10 session today. Hoping to meet you all soon in our next break time session, and until then it's bye from the break time team. Thank you.